Welcome back everyone. In this video we will talk about the cumulative distribution of the open interest of options. We have seen so far that it is very important to examine the size of money in the market and its flows, both in terms of option contracts and futures contracts. As a part of the analysis of the open interest of options, our MC4 model comprises a further check. That is, MC4 requires the calculation of a cumulative distribution function. It is very easy. So let's cover it. We export in Excel our chain. Then, consider the column of the open interest of call options. Now just add the open interest of the calls in ascending order. Then, on the other side, add the open interest of the puts in a descending order. For each strike now, let's then calculate the weight that the cumulative open interest has on the total open interest. Okay, we do this calculation along the entire chain, and we put it on a chart. So, the cumulative open interest is made up of two series of histograms. One green which refers to the calls, and one red which refers to the puts. It starts with a weight of 0% on the extreme ITM, and, as options open interest are added, the cumulative distribution grows up until 100%. So, in other words, this is the weight of open interest per strike, then just cumulated. As you can see, the chart shows the crossover. It is the meeting point of the two histograms, and it represents the so-called market equilibrium, where most of the options would expire worthless. In the example shown, since the crossover is about at 25% for both puts and calls, it means that 75% of the options in the market would expire worthless with happiness of those who sold them. Right side of the crossover for the OTM calls and left side for the OTM puts. Now, through this cumulative distribution, we are going to monitor the positions and the risks assumed by all market players in relation to a specific underlying. These are objective data. They show the real monetary forces that are in the market at any given time. Please consider that the price of the underlying may not be aligned with the distribution crossover. Indeed, we can say that the farther the price is from the crossover, the more the sellers of the party involved are under pressure and obliged to hedge their portfolio positions. Let's deepen this aspect. The concept that I want to pass you is this. We can relate the price of the underlying to the accumulated open interest. This way we can study the pressure of money movements on the price according to the strikes of options. Consequently, we can study how market participants react to the movement of the underlying in a continuous cycle of expansion and compression that produces the small and large swings in the markets we all see. So, if the crossover represents the point where there is the maximum gain for the sellers, we can say that the crossover is the point of equilibrium. From a theoretical point of view, none of the operators want the price moves too much from there. As if the operators had mounted a large short straddle. We call it VA0. Value area 0. The break-evens of this huge short straddle are around 40% on the put side and 40% on the call side. We call this strike bands the market indifference zone between VI plus 40 and VI minus 40. This is an area where the price of the underlying is free to swing without affecting the seller's portfolio positions. In this area of indifference, the market is generally on the side. The stock market sessions alternate boringly, plus 0.5%, minus 1%, plus 0.5%. The entire market is in the hands of the software and the swing traders who do enjoy trade contrarian, long the supports, short the resistances. In fact, in this area of indifference, the supports support, the resistances resist, and the trend-following systems go into extreme pain, when the moving averages cross continuously and give a lot of false signals. Well, at some point something happens. It happens that the price touches and breaks one of the two value areas, VI plus 40 or VI minus 40, making the seller's positions into distress. On VI plus 40 the call side suffers, and the hedgers are forced to enter long with the future. The opposite on VI minus 40, where the put sellers go into distress, so they short the future. In these areas of value we can see also the roll activity. Suddenly, the strong momentum movements occur, where the supports and resistances are inevitably broken due to the hedging of future and stops of the operators. Traders and hedgers literally throw in futures in the market to defend the side that is inevitably becoming ITM. If the momentum is maintained, the price of the underlying goes far and reaches the 80% of ITM options. This is a situation where the market approaches the excess. We do not name these an overbought or an oversold area. These terms are used by technical analysts and do not have any correspondence if applied to the MC4 system. We name these areas overcovered or overhedged precisely because the request for hedging of ITM options reached almost all the options that needs to be hedged at that point. What remains to be hedged is little, and it is unlikely that the price will be able to move again in trend and with force. These value areas are called VI plus 80 and VI minus 80. They are the real overcovered or overhedged areas. In fact, as we mentioned a moment ago, in VI plus 80, the moneyness of the seller's portfolios is significantly affected and the options positions are in distress. The sellers have rolled the strikes and put in place all the hedges with futures. On the other hand, option buyers have taken a good turn and can be satisfied and realize the profit. In the MC4 system, the consistency of the four elements is particularly important at the 80% level. A decrease in the open interest of the future, as we know, is an indication that some sellers are beginning to close their hedges, and therefore the conviction of the directional movement may no longer be so clear. The directional trend begins to run out of steam, the confidence in the trend falters and creaks, even the technical analysis indicators with great delay begin to show divergences. But it is not yet time to mount the counter-trend position to take the sudden and opposite movement. Remember, trade only when all the elements of MC4 are consistent. Otherwise it's like grabbing the falling knife. In fact, we still need two steps to complete the puzzle: the volumetric profile and the implied volatility. Thanks for your attention, let's move on to the next videos.